Now, welcome back, children. Let us continue with this lesson, Madame Curie. We'll continue from the last few lines of page 77. We'll begin from the line when Mr. Pierre Curie tells the reporters to leave. He said, "So gentlemen, I must ask you to leave," because he was not interested in giving them answers. And the second reporter, he said, "Leave? We haven't even begun to ask the important questions." And the third reporter, he said, "Are you going to Sweden?" Now they were actually interested in asking whether they were going in person to collect the award. Then Pierre said, "We are as yet undecided." So he said, "We are not sure. We have not finalized our program." And the reporter 4 said, "Will you shift into a larger, more comfortable home now that you will be rich?" Then Marie Curie, he said, "We haven't thought about that either." So she also replies that we haven't decided whether we are going to use the money to buy a bigger house. Reporter 3, he said, "What message can I give to our readers in America from you?" And Mary said, "Message? Why should Americans want any messages from us?" So she was actually surprised. Why would the people of America or the common men of America would want any message from them? And Pierre said, "Well, gentlemen, I am sure that by now you have enough material on us to fill several columns. So, goodbye. Please leave us in peace. Ma'am Deliska, will you be so kind as to escort these gentlemen to the door? Come, Mary." And then he calls his wife. He said, "Let's go from here." And he asked politely Ma'am Deliska to escort these gentlemen to the door, means to show them the door or to tell them to be out of the house. So that was a very polite way of asking the reporters to get out of their house. And then Pierre gives Mary his arm, and the two exit. Madame Deliska springs to life and action. So she was very happy to react to the reporters, because some of the reporters had behaved rudely to her. So she said, come along, out you go, all of you. You heard what Monsieur Curie said? No, I won't tell you how and where they met. Now this way she was just saying, no, I'm not going to tell you anything personal about them, how they met each other, all those things. And then she leads them out of the door and shuts it with a bang. Pierre and Mary re-enter and looking very upset. Now Pierre and Marie Curie, they both re-enter on the stage and both are looking very upset now. Now Pierre said, "Oh, Ma'am Deliska, we are so sorry to have put you through all this trouble." And he even apologized for the inconvenience. He said, "You have to actually be rude to them, and you have to put them out of the house. I had asked you only to do this. So I am very I thank you, but I am sorry also to put you through all this trouble." Then Ma'am Deliska, she was actually not much worried about that. She said, "This is only the beginning." And she just gave a signal that it is just the beginning. Right now only 5 reporters have come to your house. Then there will be more. Many more people would want to know more about their personal lives as well as about their discovery. Then Pierre said, "What do you mean?" He never expected that so many people would be coming to their home. Ma'am Deliska said, "At present, only newspaper reporters are hounding you. Very soon, the whole of Paris, the creme de la creme, will be knocking at your door. So he said, right now only reporters are hounding you, means they are just after you. Very soon you will see the whole of Paris. Okay, wherever you go, you people have become so famous now that the creme de la creme means all the most important people. Creme de la creme, the very best. Okay, cream of the cream. Okay, cream means the top layer. Okay, so they will be knocking at your door. Mary, what nonsense. We are poor scientists and we have no time for celebrities. She said, we are poor scientists. Okay, we just have to work on our science projects and we have no time for all these social gatherings and all these attention. Then Ma'am Diliska, she's told, whether you like it or not, whether you have the time or not, you must accept the fact that you are not only famous but internationally famous, and you will have to pay the price for that. So she just warned them that, see, whether you like it or not, you people have become world famous now, and not only famous, you are internationally famous, you are world famous, and so you will have to pay the price for being famous. Lights slowly fade, Pierre and Mary exit, and Madame Diliska slowly walks upstage center, and the light is on her, and then there is a curtain. So that is what is in the play actually on the stage, and then they have the story afterwards actually, and they did pay heavily for their fame. So they are just telling the reality, that in reality also what Ma'am Diliska had told them, that they would have to pay the price for being famous, internationally famous, and they really had to pay for it and pay heavily for it. The Curies, who always liked to live like wild people, had to flee from the curious and those who would violate their privacy. Now, wild people, actually, they just live like wild people means just common people. They were not those people who could live in a very sophisticated manner. Okay, so they always like to live like wild people. They had to flee from the curious. Now they had to they had to stay away from the curious and those who would violate their privacy. Means all those people who had curiosity to know about their personal lives. They were asked for articles and lectures, inundated by requests for photographs and autographs. Now, they were asked for articles and lectures. Now, many magazines and many organizations, they invited them to give a lecture, okay, or write an article. Then inundated by requests for photographs. Inundated means flooded, because one after the other, there were so many requests for photographs and even autographs. They were drowned in philosophical letters, sonnets and poems on radium. Now even people mentioned them in their poems. They were drowned in philosophical letters. Means people wrote so many letters full of philosophy. Okay, and sonnets and poems on radium. Now what is a sonnet? Sonnet is actually a 14-line poem. So it's a typical style of writing a poetry, and other poems also on radium. An American wrote to ask if Mary would allow him to baptize a racehorse in her name. So there was one crazy American who even wrote to Marie Curie and wanted to take her permission if she would allow him to baptize. Baptize means to name, formally name, okay, give a Christian name or a name to his racehorse, and he wanted to give the name Marie Curie only. They received plenty of requests for money, were visited by scientists, society people and eccentrics. Now who are eccentrics? Eccentrics are actually the people who are strange or unusual people who are crazy actually. So they received plenty of requests for money. Plenty of requests for money means people wanted to give them money. plenty of requests they had for money, and they were visited by scientists. Now so many different scientists started visiting them. Society people means all the high society people wanted to meet them, and even eccentrics means some people who were unusual or crazy. All sorts of people wanted to meet Ma'am Curie and her husband. Pierre and Mary were the toast of London, Paris, Stockholm and Warsaw. Now they were the toast of London. Now toast of London means what? They were invited to all the parties and gatherings in London, honored by the people of London. Okay. So the toast of London means they were invited and given honor. Okay. Then even in Paris, Stockholm and Warsaw also they were invited. It was not only London but also different cities. But did this fame get them what they really wanted? A professorship at Sorbonne for Pierre, or even laboratory where they could work undisturbed? Now these people, actually the scientists both, did they really get what they wanted actually? They got so much of fame, they got so much of honor at different places, even requests for money, but nobody offered them something which they really wanted, a very advanced laboratory, a proper science lab where they could carry on their projects and experiments and where they could work undisturbed. They didn't even have a proper laboratory. And a professorship at Sorbonne for Pierre. Now he could have been given a professor's job, okay, but that also was not given. No, France was the last country to recognize their greatness, and it was only Pierre's school which supported their work with the little money that it had of its own. So France actually was the last country. France was the last country to recognize their greatness, and it was only Pierre's school which supported their work with the little money that it had of its own. So only Pierre's school actually supported with some little money for their lab or whatever they required. However, I cannot leave you without telling you a story. So another thing they want to share with us, that I can't leave you without telling a story. Now one more incident actually, which is worth mentioning. Now Mary and Pierre were invited by the President of France to the Elysee Palace for dinner. So once these, both of them were invited by the President of France, okay, to the palace for dinner, and in the course of the evening, a lady came up to Mary and asked and said, "Would you like me to present you to the King of Greece?" Now she very politely came and asked, "Would you like me to present you to the King of Greece?" Now King of Greece actually wanted to meet them, and that lady had come to just make a polite request. And Mary was such an innocent person, she never thought of meeting people and realizing that such an important person like the King of Greece wanted to meet her, so she should have said yes. Instinctively she just said, and she politely replied, "No, I don't really think so." She said, "Why should I meet the King of Greece?" Okay, not that she had any kind of attitude, but just she did not want meeting any people, any person that way. I don't see the utility of it. Just because she thought, what is the use of meeting the King of Greece? So she politely said no. And the lady was shocked, because the lady herself was the queen. She was the king's wife. And Mary suddenly realized that it was Madame Loubet, okay, the president's wife. The president's wife, sorry, not the queen. She was the president's wife who had asked such a polite request and who had asked her the question. So she, the next moment only she realized that it was very rude of her that she had denied that request. She blushed, and then so she blushed, and she said quickly, but naturally, I shall do whatever you please. Just as you please, madame, just as you please. Okay, so then she corrected herself, and then she said, but naturally I shall do whatever. I don't think there is any use in meeting him, but still, I shall do whatever you please. And then she was ready to meet the king. Yes, but then Pierre and Mary were really unique persons interested in scientific ideas, not people. So that is the whole story about that. Mary and Curie both were scientists, and both actually were only interested. Okay, they were interested only in the scientific ideas. Okay, whatever was concerned with their studies. Okay, or with their project, or with their any question of science in their minds. But they were not interested in meeting people, making contacts, and all those formalities. They were just very much away from the social life. So that is all in this lesson about Madame Curie and Pierre Curie. Both of them actually had a very similar attitude towards their work, and both of them avoided people, avoided meeting people, and also they wanted to just put all their hard work in their work, all their energy, because they were always occupied mentally as well as